When dealing with real-world problems or analyzing data, there is a straightforward way to understand how changes in the one variable impact the other variable. Yes. Hello math learners, Hassan here. Welcome back. Today we are diving into a new topic, writing equations in slope-intercept form. It provides a clear and concise way to represent linear equations. Okay, so let's start. So this is the format for writing equation in slope-intercept form. We write y equals mx plus b. Again, the m is representing the slope or gradient, and this b is representing the y value when x is 0. Typically, this value occurs on the y-axis. So to find b, we typically see where the line crosses the y-axis, and to find the m or the slope, we apply the formula for finding slope. So let's see over here. We have to write an equation of each line with the given slope and y-intercept. If you look at the first problem, the slope is -3 and the y-intercept is 1/2. So we first write down our slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Now we plug in the values for m and b. So if you plug in the value for m, we have y equals -3x, and if you plug in the value for b, we have 1/2. So the equation is y equals -3x plus 1/2. Now let's look at the second one. For the second one, again, we just write down the formula. Then we plug in the value for m, which is m equals 0, and the b is -2. So we just plug in over here, -2. Now you can see that the 0 times x simplifies to 0. So our equation reduces to y equals -2. This is the equation for this problem statement. So our equation for this line is y equals -2. Now let's see how we can find the equation from the graph. In this case, we have 2 points on the graph. Let's see the step-by-step strategy for finding the equation for this line. So whenever we are presented with a graph, to find the linear equation, we first find the slope using the slope formula, and then we find the y-intercept from the graph, and then we plug it in y equals mx plus b form. So let's do this step by step. To find the slope, we have these 2 points 0, 7, and the second point is 4, 4. The formula for finding slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can assign this point as x1, y1, and assign this coordinate point as x2, y2. Now we plug in. What is our y2? If we look at these 2 points, we can see y2 is right over here. So this is 4 minus our y1 is this 7. And then we divide by x2 minus x1. x2 is 4 again, minus x1 is 0. So you can see we get 4 minus 7, that is -3 over 4. Once we have our m equals -3 over 4, we can find the y-intercept from the graph. If you look at the graph, the y value at the y-axis is 7. So our b is equal to 7. So we know our m is -3 over 4 and b is equal to 7. So we plug it in the formula y equals mx plus b. We get y equals -3 over 4x plus 7. This is how we find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form from the graph. Now we'll see how to find slope-intercept form from 2 given points. Over here we don't have any graph, rather we just have 2 points, and we'll need to find the slope-intercept form. So the first step is we find the slope from these 2 points using the slope formula. Once we find the slope, then we apply the point slope formula and isolate the variable y, and we'll see that in a moment. So first, let's try to find the slope. So for slope, the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we plug the values in over here. We have y2 as 4 minus 1, and x2 is 4 minus 8. So we get 4 minus 1 as 3, and 4 minus 8 is -4. So our slope is m equals -3/4. Now our second strategy, or the second step over here, is we apply the point slope formula. Now this point slope formula looks like this: y minus y1 equals m, open parenthesis, x minus x1, close parenthesis. So we'll plug any point for this x1 and y1. So you can either plug this point or this point for this x1 and y1. And we also plug the value m for this. So let's pick up this point. So we have y minus, for this case, the y1 is 1. For m, we have -3/4. We have x minus, the x1 is 8. Now we need to distribute this -3/4 with each of these terms inside the parentheses. So we get y minus 1 equals -3/4x plus, remember there is a negative sign and there is a minus sign. So if you multiply, these two signs would make a positive sign over here. So we get +6. Now to isolate the variable y, we simply add 1 on both sides. So we get y equals -3/4x plus 7. So this is the equation that we get for these 2 points. Now we'll see how to find the slope-intercept form from a given function. Over here we have a linear function. It says if f is a linear function with f of 3 equals -2 and f of 8 equals 1, find an equation for the function in slope-intercept form. Now, how do you actually approach a problem like this? Since we have a linear function, we'll need to get the coordinates from this function. So the strategy over here is we can write the given points using coordinates. F of 3 equals -2 means the input value is 3 and the output is -2. So we have 3, -2. And for f of 8 equals 1, we have the input as 8 and the output is 1. Now that we have just found the 2 points, we can apply these strategies that we just saw in the last slide. So first, we'll just find the slope. Sorry, step number 1 is find the slope. So in this case, we can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's say this point is x1 comma y1 and this point is x2 comma y2. So just plug in over here. So we have 1 minus y1 is -2 and then x2 is 8 minus x1 is 3. So the slope we get is 1 minus -2 is +3 and 8 minus 3 is 5. So our slope is 3/5. Now we can apply the point slope formula over here, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Again, we can plug either this point or this point for this x1 and y1. So I'll just plug y minus, in this case I'll just plug 8, 1. So for 8, 1, our y value is 1, so I'll just plug 1 over here, equals m value is 3/5. We have x minus x value is 8. So now we do the distributive property. Y minus 1 equals 3x/5 minus 24/5. Now to isolate the y, we simply add 1 on both sides. If we add 1 on both sides, we get y equals 3/5x minus 19/6. So our equation for this line is y equals 3/5x minus 19/6. This is how we find the equation in slope-intercept form from the function. And there you have it. The art of writing equations in slope-intercept form unveiled. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, let's get to study.